me and Andy and Alex played some Payday 3,
Yeah,
which
the
had an open
open
beta.
release. Yeah.
Now this is
Um,
shortly before release of the actual full game. They had a little open beta, and it's close. It's really close to release, which is not good for them. It ain't good for them that it's this
a
close and
Flask,
this is the
whatever you're
game
about to
we got.
say, just keep in mind it was a 6-month old build.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's all fine
I shouldn't
actually.
even talk. I shouldn't even. There are no criticisms. 6 months
Yeah,
old.
we've probably talked about
Why would
Payday
you
2 at
beta
some point,
a
but the
6-month
two of us.
build
It's a good question, Greg.
for a
Great
game that's coming
questions.
out in like a week?
This is a good question, Greg. It's a great question. We probably talked about Payday 2 at some point, but me and Flask and Greg all played it a lot together back in the day. It was kind of one of our games. I'm not going to check, but probably several hundred hours in Payday 2. Didn't keep up with it throughout all the years. I mean, I know they've done pretty much a lot of content over the last, especially like 3 or 4 years. They started going back at it after failed projects. So I haven't played any of that. But I think it's fair to say, Flask, that I don't know what your expectation was. Based on the developer's trajectory, I don't know if I was expecting anything good, but I kind of wanted it to be good.
Yes,
I didn't
based on
even
the
get to. I didn't
developer's
even get to be able to play
trajectory,
it.
you don't really need to have.
I didn't think it
If
looked
you
that.
play
I mean,
Payday 2, you pretty much know what to expect, except slightly worse in some ways, maybe slightly. The terms we were using were like dumbed down, consolidated, made to be a little more like. What term did you use, Andy? I think you used another term.
Streamlined, maybe?
Streamlined.
Accessible? I don't know.
Yeah, like supposed to be accessible, but what they're really doing is like just making it a worse experience by trying
Reducing
to
the complexity of the experience.
Yes,
You know what
yes. I mean? So you don't really we didn't really get much out of it in terms of like anything as a new experience. It was fine to actually play, but based on what's been going on with Starbreeze over the past many years, it's like pretty predictable that this product would turn out to be mediocre at best. I mean, they've continued to support Payday 2, but I think their days of actually like being at the forefront of anything and making like interesting new titles maybe just done forever. Yeah, it's not great. But the elephant in the room for Payday 3 was, of course, that in the open beta there were terrible technical issues that we were encountering, and not just us. You know, it seemed to be a widespread issue.
Widespread thing.
The matchmaking just straight up broken, and we only got to actually get into a few games by like very desperate and persistent trying different things to even get the fucking game to work. It was ridiculous. We almost didn't play because we were going to quit, but we kept going, oh, maybe we'll try this one last thing that we can think of. And then finally our one last thing paid off, got us into a few games, and then it stopped working. After that, we couldn't get into games anymore. It's just stopped working and it was broken again. It was terrible. Whether this was like a 6-month-old build beta issue, who knows? But really, really not a good look for Payday 3, the game. And just, I think, really soured us on the game from the beginning. And then even getting into the game, we were not enthused about the product. We were not impressed. It was kind of like Payday 2 again, but maybe worse.
But maybe worse. I mean, the shooty, like, we ended up just having to go loud every time. For actually, yeah, we can get into that in a minute, but we had to go loud every time. I think the shooty bits felt probably exactly the same as Payday 2, but the key thing is that we only did a few rounds, and it's not like we could try out a bunch of different weapons. And most importantly, I think for a Payday game, the skill progression. So no idea how that's going to feel. Payday, the shooting did feel pretty much the same. It's really like the stealth, which I think me and Flask, it's probably mine and your favorite part of the game. It's really like the stealth that feels watered down, which is kind of like lame, because like you don't need to do that, you know? Like just let people do stealth if they want to like go try hard at it. That was part of why it was fun to do stealth in Payday 2, is because it wasn't easy. And this game, it's stuff like infinite zip ties. It's stuff like you don't have to put people in body bags to carry them around. It's stuff like you, if you get caught, or if you kill 3 people in Payday 2, 3 guards, you're basically caught. You have a timer because you're just fucked. You fucked up too much. In this game, there's ways around it. And, you know, I'm not saying that, like, I'm sure there's going to be people who love it and say that it makes it a better game because you don't have to do the tedious stuff as much, but like the tedious stuff is also kind of what was the fun for me in Payday 2. Like what they would call tedious, I mean. So that was disappointing. But like truthfully, we didn't, like you said, didn't get much of a chance to really evaluate the game's features and changes because over a 2-ish hour session, we played 2 full games.
Yeah, only a few. It's tough too because I think we were trying to give the gameplay a fair shake when we actually got in, but like,
I mean, we spent 45 minutes trying to get in. You know what I mean? It's like we were trying to be like and we did have fun.
Yes,
I would say we had fun
because it's still a Payday experience once you're in it.
Yeah,
at least to some extent. But yeah, it's tough because like even though we were trying to give it a fair shake, we weren't really able to engage with all the systems. There was one mission available to us, which is, you know, fine. It's a open beta, but like one mission was available and we were trying to go stealth and like keep it stealth, but it didn't really work out and it didn't. One time
it's not necessarily a problem with the game, right?
Where like a guard triggered on you, even though it didn't make sense that you were like you.
That was the second time.
Yeah.
The first time is also kind of funny. I mean, it's not really whatever they changed stuff up, but for a game that's exactly like Payday 2 in almost every way, I don't know why they decided to change some of the default control scheme. I looked it up after because it wasn't just me fucking up. Like hitting G was how you like threw body bags and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So the first time we got caught is because I hit G and threw a grenade at a bad time, and it's because I was trying to, I'm pretty sure, get rid of a guy I'd picked up. You know what I mean?
I think the controls must be different. If we're wrong about that, that would be very strange because all of us
we are not. I confirmed it. Like
okay.
Yeah.
Alex was even saying the same thing, and I was also. None of us knew the controls, even though we played tons of Payday 2. We were trying to figure it out for the first little while. So
the most salient. Oh, go ahead. I think you're getting to the same place I was.
All of it kind of combined to give us this impression of like just not great. You know, just like even though it theoretically could be similar to Payday 2 and fun, and for all we know, we could have like, you know, kept it stealth and done the mission in a few different ways and tried it out and stuff like that. Just there were a lot of little things and little changes and then of course the bugs or the broken like matchmaking surrounding that just brought it down, you know, in our esteem.
Yeah.
Just really dragged the whole experience down.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's disappointing. But you know, all that plus the fact that this was the beta weekend before release kind of just speaks to like, oh man, I wonder how fucked up this thing is going to be when they try to like release all the maps they have and all the content. You know what I mean? Because this was a very limited slice of content, and it just didn't. It barely worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, barely functional thing. You alluded to it, but also, I guess that we didn't really engage with the leveling up system, obviously, because it was just, you know, trying the game out. But apparently it's like that too is very consolidated and may just be like a shadow of its former self. And I think the ranking up system and the card system that they used for like skills and stuff like that in Payday 2, we put a lot of time into that as players. We engaged with that pretty heavily.
I'm not gonna like
We
go
would
out there
make
and say it was like the
builds
best system ever, but like I never had a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like it was a good system.
We used it. We were into it.
I don't remember ever having complaints.
It was a good companion to the gameplay experience, and from what we understand, it's different and much reduced now in this.
And
game.
you wonder like how much of that is like good and intentional game design, and how much of that is it has to be different, right? I mean, it's been 10 years. It's Payday 3. You know, it's not an update to Payday 2 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm still willing to give it a chance, especially if I hear that somehow all the gamer defense hype is true, and that this build that we played was 6 months old for some reason, and that the build that is going to release this weekend is going to be actually good. But I'm going to check it out. I don't have much faith in it. The game costs $40 too, which is insane. But also, it's coming out day one on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure.
Right. That is the one saving grace for us.
Yeah. So we can try it out, but I'm at least going to wait until I've had it confirmed for me that friend matchmaking is working.
Yeah.
It's kind of... I wasn't even going to bring this up as a negative, because in a network test, I do actually get this one, but it was kind of a pain in the ass that, like, we couldn't even just make a private lobby. You know what I mean? Like, we had to... Again, I think me and Flask mostly wanted to try out the stealth, but we had to deal with just a random person. The game that we got furthest was the game where shit just almost totally bugged out, and we ended up in a lobby with just the three of us.
And a bot as the fourth heister.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and
Payday
also
3.
we didn't even mention
Oh.
that some of the people that we got matched with had like insanely high levels, and it was clear that something was terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Either hackers or just the game bugging out. Unclear.
Yeah, I think there was both of those happening. There was definitely, I think, at least one confirmed hacker.
Yeah.
Who had max level.
So yeah, matchmaking was just fucked. Payday 3.
Payday 3. I would like to give it a positive update in a couple weeks. We'll see.
That'd be nice.